Ms. Colmenaro, you began your legal career by clerking for Judge Joe Fish on the District Court of the Northern District of Texas. How did that clerkship shape your understanding of the role of a federal trial judge, particularly when it comes to preparation, judicial temperament, and managing a courtroom?
Yes, Senator. I was fortunate enough to clerk for Judge Fish in the Northern District of Texas, and what he showed me is that it is important for the judge to be the most prepared person in the courtroom, more prepared than the lawyers, and to know the law in all shapes and forms better than anybody. He also exhibited judicial humility and took his oath of office incredibly seriously, and kind of knew that with the great responsibility that he had to show fidelity to the law at all times. And so he exhibited that day in and day out and was a great role model for me when it came to ensuring that every litigant who came before him was treated in a fair and impartial way.
You and I also had the opportunity early in our legal career to work for Governor Greg Abbott. I worked for him when he was Attorney General. Greg Abbott, he's a dear friend. As you know, when he's in the state capitol and he pulls on his driving gloves and is on the slick marble floors, that his wheelchair can book it. And my question is, how frequently have you had to run to keep up with him going across the state capitol?
Every single time, which is why I don't wear heels.
That is wisdom. Ms. Mitchell, you clerked for Judge William Pryor of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit, and later for Justice Clarence Thomas. Both of them are also dear friends of mine, an extraordinary jurist. Tell this committee what you learned working for both of them.
I learned so much. I learned so much from the judges for whom I clerked. One principle that stands out as I sit here today is that the old saying that what is right is not always popular and what is popular is not always right. And I saw them live out their oath with fidelity to the Constitution, our federal laws, judging without fear or favor, and treating everyone that came before them with respect. And that was a tremendous opportunity as a young lawyer to be shaped by their example.
Thank you. Senator Whitehouse.
Thanks, Chairman. Welcome, everyone.
During a recent Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, a senior senator addressed 4 federal judicial nominees, offering distinct praise and focused questioning for 2 candidates from Texas, Angela Colmenaro and Caston Mitchell. Both have been nominated to serve as federal district judges. The senator emphasized the extensive, bipartisan process used to evaluate judicial nominees in Texas, a system managed in coordination with Senator John Cornyn. A bipartisan federal judicial advisory committee comprising roughly 25 highly respected lawyers from across Texas reviews all applications. Colmenaro and Mitchell advanced through this vetting process with flying colors before undergoing extensive personal interviews with the senator. The senator noted that while it is inappropriate to ask nominees how they would rule on pending cases, the interview process heavily prioritizes a candidate's commitment to the rule of law over personal policy preferences. The commentary turned to the specific backgrounds and formative clerkship experiences of the 2 Texas nominees. Having begun her legal career clerking for Judge Joe Fish of the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas, Colmenaro testified that Judge Fish modeled the importance of being the most prepared person in the courtroom. She highlighted his judicial humility and steady fidelity to the law as foundational to her understanding of treating litigants fairly and impartially. Mitchell reflected on her prestigious clerkships with Judge William Pryor of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit and Associate Justice Clarence Thomas of the U.S. Supreme Court. She testified that both jurists instilled in her the principle that what is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. She emphasized their example of judging without fear or favor and upholding the Constitution. The session concluded with a floor being passed to Senator Sheldon Whitehouse for further questioning. The presenting senator's remarks reveal a clear perspective on the role of the judiciary, alongside personal political camaraderie and high praise for the nominees' qualifications. The presenter holds a strict view of the judiciary as a non-political branch. The senator emphasized that because federal district judges hold life tenure and many of their decisions are never appealed, they carry an immense gravity of responsibility. The presenter expressed the strong opinion that a judge's primary duty is absolute fidelity to the law, completely divorced from personal ideological or policy preferences. The presenter expressed strong approval of the Texas judicial selection process, viewing it as a model of rigorous, bipartisan excellence. By highlighting that the state's 32 million residents yield a vast pool of talent, the presenter proudly framed Colmenero and Mitchell as the top examples of integrity and excellence rising to the surface. The presenter used the hearing to highlight close, warm relationships with several high-profile conservative figures, which clearly shapes their positive outlook on the nominees. The presenter shared a light-hearted, personal anecdote about working for Abbott during his tenure as Attorney General, calling him a dear friend, and jokingly admiring his speed in his wheelchair through the state capitol. The presenter openly referred to both conservative jurists as dear friends and extraordinary jurists, signaling deep respect for the legal environments in which Caston Mitchell was trained. Overall, the presenter's perspective is one of strong endorsement, using the platform to validate the nominees' elite credentials, conservative legal pedigree, and suitability for the federal bench.